Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Married at First Sight, Season 18, Episode 12, The Afterparty.
The Afterparty. This was a short afterparty. Well, I guess we don't want to talk about the MMA and the catchy drama no more, so we got to talk about David and Juan. I am really actually excited about this because this is going to expose some things that I think we all know. Make sure y'all subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. You ready?
Yes.
Let's go.
So we have, of course, Keisha as the host,
Yeah.
Michelle, Juan, and Czar from the Connors couch.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, and her husband was there last week, and I feel like they did a great job on the after party.
Definitely.
Yes. So the first clip we see is of Michelle confronting David about the text in the car. Apparently, Michelle got the text at 9 p.m. She didn't respond to it at all because she wanted to confront him about it to catch him off guard to see how he was going to respond.
Yeah.
It did cause alarm for her when he said that he deleted it.
Yeah.
And Czar asked, was it a possibly flirty text that he was maybe a little tipsy and just wanted to throw it out there? And Keisha says that would have been a better lie. Juan says that it's the total opposite of everything David said he's trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any thoughts there?
I actually have a question before I give a thought to you, actually.
Okay.
Does it matter the time of when that text was sent?
It does a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it absolves him from the lie, but in my head, I thought it was later. Dude, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's 9 p.m. I'm thinking like this is one of those text messages that's like a little bit like 11-ish, 12-ish. 9 is kind of early evening for me.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? What I would say is David should have told a better lie. Or tell the truth.
Exactly.
like
that girl don't like you. Just tell the truth.
Yeah, like whole time there's nothing. Listen here, David. Your dream of this blonde, blue-eyed girl is over.
Well, I don't know. Does Michelle have brown or blue eyes? I mean, Madison.
I don't think it's Madison.
You don't? Oh,
no,
okay.
I don't think it's Madison, right? Because truth be told, when we see the preview of Michelle telling the girls, all the girls look surprised. Unless Madison's a liar. You get what I'm saying?
That's what I'm thinking.
Madison laughing like, what was that?
If I could throw out my theory, or you?
No. Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to say that I think that when he went out with Alan and Madison, I think that he was flirting with Madison over the text and was trying to send her a little message.
While out with them?
That's
crazy,
While
Blair.
Alan was getting the drinks.
That's crazy,
and
Blair.
he was sending a text to Madison, you look so good, I want to eat you up.
No.
And then that whole thing about like and she's in front of his face with her, her panties in a bunch because
okay.
because David sent her something a little bit sneaky freaky while they're out with her husband. I think that's how they get down.
Really?
I think that's how they were getting down because Michelle, Madison, both M names. I think he was trying to, say something a little flirty, sexy with Madison while her husband was around. That
is risky.
But that's what I really believe. Y'all got to prove me otherwise.
You are messy. Okay. That's actually a good theory. Also, we also got added a little context in the episode. On the actual episode was that he be going on these random meetups with his Tinder exes. You get what I'm saying?
I'm like, can you even count Tinder people as exes? I'm just like, you still dating these people.
That's why I call them Tinder exes. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a common truth besides your messy truth. It could be one of those Tinder exes that he was talking to that he continuously meet up with. My whole point is, David, why do you have to lie? People lie for two reasons, and one of those reasons can't be because you're an adult. People lie because, number one, they fear the consequences, right? So, David, you're a grown man. You should not be fearing consequences. You should be a man and an adult, and you should be able to face consequences, right? And number two, people lie because they believe that the person that they're lying to is stupid. So, that's why Michelle is taking it as this is an insult to my intelligence based on the lie you told me, because you didn't even think of me high enough to lie to me better.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You told me that it was your cousin that sent you a picture of food in Chinatown. I never been to Chinatown. And I'm like, this sound like R. Kelly, hog tie. I don't know how to hog tie nobody. It's like, it is funny because it's in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the lie itself was the insulting part.
Yeah.
But if you are on what you believe you are, and that is like on your messy trail right now.
Yeah.
He was out with Alan and Madison.
Yeah.
why wouldn't Michelle's mind go to Madison?
I think her mind did go there. Because that's why. Well, we can talk about it because they talk about it more at the end.
Go ahead.
So we talk about Michelle's family visit, her friend saying that she's a great person to the people that she loves. Michelle can see that she's miserable in the show. She's not like that in real life. She could be happy, even the life of the party.
Stop right there. Now you think I'm stupid.
Because she lied to us.
Listen, just because David lied to you don't mean you got to come and lie to me and lie to my missus, okay? You are not the life of no one's party. I can, listen, anybody who is the life of the party, a person does not bring them down in the way that David's bringing you down. You are speaking of the person that you think you are. Mind you, you are the one who, the friend who was in this episode, y'all met as freshmen. And when y'all met, in y'all first interaction, she was like, I'm not rooming with that girl. Okay? So it's like, this person that you think you are, this fun person, I think her reality is altered a little bit. Fun. I just find it very hard to believe that, hey, I'm not this person. Even Blair had to correct me this one time where we was reviewing and she was with her eyebrow lady, and Blair said she wasn't being sarcastic. She know Michelle to be like mean and things of that nature. So it's like, I don't know if Michelle is as open or the life of the party or even love people the way that she like put it out there. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Keisha asked her, so how much time does it take you to warm up to people?
That's a good question, Keisha.
And she says just a couple of times of hanging out and just this, like, more of a comfort thing. So Michelle gets a do-over for the episode, and she would try to let her guard down. She shut down at the wedding and wishes that she was more open-minded. Michelle did spend time with David's family. Denise was there, but she wanted another conversation with David before she started questioning Denise. And Zara said, also, you need to know what his face looks like when he laughs.
That is true. That is true. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, my only thoughts on that are Michelle wouldn't have done anything differently. Even if she knows that she should. I just feel like her brain doesn't go to actually like the root of an issue in order for her to actually change it, because the conversations with the experts seem just so much like a layup. Like, what is your childhood history? And this is some of the things that are making you show up in this way. And she was like, I never thought about it like that. And I'm just like, yeah. So to me, I don't think Michelle thinks that deeply about her past and what motivates her. I think that she's pretty much just status quo and happy with how she is in life. I think that she sees where she can improve, but she really can't get out of her own way.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And also, like, to be real, like, you can get out your own way so much that you had to sign up for this experiment. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Even when you was doing your intros on the first episode, you wanted to make it clear that you're independent and that, like, you don't need a man and things of that nature, to paraphrase. That don't sound like the life of the party to me. Yeah. That sounds like somebody who I don't want to party with. Someone that come in there and be like, I want this. I don't need this. It's like at the end of the day, who you describe yourself to be, I would see flashes of that at least one time throughout the season. At least once. Yeah. At least once, right? But I haven't. So it's kind of funny to see you say, oh my God, I'm watching myself on TV and I'm like, who is that girl? You know who that girl is. Stop it. I'm not stupid, okay? Hog tie. Like, no, we're not doing that tonight on this after party in front of Keisha, Juan, and Zara and things of that nature. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just funny to watch, though. It's funny to watch.
So Juan is reading the letter to his younger self. We see the clip of that. He said that it's hard as an immigrant. His parents were always working, and Juan, would help his parents with some of the jobs they had to do, like cleaning jobs, kind of like the low level type of jobs. And sometimes he feels guilty when he sees people in those positions because he's, where he is in life to where he can work from home. And Zara was grateful that he shared it with Carla, but also with the audience. Keisha was also saying that, it was important for him to share his experience. And it's great that he's able to kind of speak for people who have a similar background.
Stop right there for a second. Do I want to say it?
Oh, she was also saying he deserves good things. So
I don't know if I don't know if I want to say it.
Go ahead, say it.
He cried during the episode, and I can accept that. Right? When they showed the replay, mind you, this is months later after filming, right? This is his story, so he cried while telling the story to Carla, but we're at the after party, and he got a tissue in his hand, right? I do believe that is your story. I do not believe that you are lying, and I can empathize with you, even though that's not my experience. It's yours. But I said something in the episode to where I feel like Juan thinks this is the Juan show, right? And I feel like he's putting a little sauce on his reaction to the story that he told months ago on the show. In live form, that is, right? I don't know what he's trying to get us to view him as. And truth be told, the only reason why I feel this way is because I feel like he's trying so hard to get me to view him as something. Like, he's trying so hard. Like, it's not enough that I view him as a hard worker. I have to view him as the hardest worker because he do all these things. He got all these businesses. He got these apps, and he can't even go on random dinners or vacation because he's the hardest worker. And I understand that you had a terrible, terrible time from the time you were 6 months to the time you were 16. All those things, and it just seems like you was trying to get me to feel extra sympathy and extra empathy based off of what I already felt for you. I'm sorry, I didn't want to say it, but I did felt kind of strange watching him with the tissue this episode, almost getting teared out about it again.
Okay.
That's what I thought. It may not be nice to say, but that's how I felt watching it.
Just my response to that, I think that for me, because he talked about when he read that letter at first that he kind of worked through those things, you know, recently, I guess within a 3-year time period, like that he worked through those issues in the past. Yeah. But I think that it's more raw and at the surface than he would like to admit. I think that because his reaction is this way every single time he tells it, I think that he hasn't really worked through it. And I think that might be what's driving him in a lot of ways, as far as having to be the most successful and having to be the most positive and all these different things, because he's coming from such a tough place and he wants to make sure that he doesn't ever see himself in that space again. Yeah. So I think that he's just, even how he interacts with Carla, it's like as if she wakes up at 1:00 on a Saturday, it's like, I can't believe she did this. I rode my bike 3 miles today. But I think that's beyond the fact of, you know, he might think she's lazy. I think it's more to the fact of, if you don't get out here and grind, you're going to lose your house, which his family did. Yeah, they did. I think there's some type of motivator there.
And I think that is a motivator.
It's like fear.
I think that's a motivator from your POV of what you color Juan as. And if I was to be honest, if there was some criticism to my critique just now, I am only viewing Juan through the lens of how his and Carla marriage is. Okay. So as we about to go on, and as we about to learn more about where they are in a marriage and the reasons why they're not where they are, or the reasons why they are where they are, it gives off fraud to me. So I'm like, I don't know if I can believe anything you say. Not saying that I'm not saying that your story is a lie. Sorry.
Tell us how you really feel.
No, I'm not saying his story's a lie, guys. Okay. But I'm just saying he gives off, for someone who is so positive and want to spread positivity and things of that nature, the reasons where him and Carla is where they are today makes no sense. It literally does not match at all. Let's keep going so we can hear it.
So we see the clip of the meeting with the cousins.
Yeah.
Keisha says, you know, a lot of you guys are missing the intimacy, and that intimacy is not just sex. There is hand holding, caressing. Juan says that they do sleep in the same bed. They talk, and sometimes they cuddle.
Stop right there. Keisha gave you an out by saying, hey, you know, intimacy is not just sex. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm not even putting pressure of, have y'all been doing the do, right? Have you been hand holding? Have you been basically hugging, you know, just kissing or just something, right? Mind you, Carla's expectation or what she asked for was just cuddles, right? Cuddles, right? She liked the physical touch, right? His response was, well, we sleep in the same bed. Juan, as someone who is as business-minded as you try to sell yourself to me, right? And as someone who is so positive, how can those two, like, parallels live in the same, like, it can't live in the same box. You can't be the person that you're trying to tell me that you are, while at the same time, when it comes to Carla, right, it's magic. you're hands-on with everything else.
I hear you.
You hands-on with your business. Blair just gave the example of, like, if you don't get to it, you're going to lose your house because I lost my house. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to your relationship, it's supposed to just come out of thin air. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Dude, you see how I'm kind of motivated by, like, I'm not saying that his story is a lie. Slip of the tongue, right? Mm-hmm. I just think he's putting a little 20, again, especially retelling it live, because I think he's always on when the camera's on for some reason. I think he just put a little more sauce on his reaction to his true story on the after party.
Okay. So Zara asks, do you think it's the process that's making you not want to rush, or is this how you operate normally?
Yeah.
So Juan answers that he doesn't usually take this much time, but in the past, when he would get physical, things just wouldn't work out.
Okay.
And Keisha says, you guys are strangers, but you're married and not roommates.
Yes.
Juan says that he's not doing a great job of being affectionate, but it doesn't feel natural, and there is a spark that's missing. So Zara explains that in her marriage, there have been moments of ebbs and flows, and something that they actually did to get back on track with their physical intimacy is to set a timer, because she was kind of like had moments where she didn't really want to be touched.
Yeah.
But as they did the exercise, and over time they didn't need the timer anymore because the physical touch became easier.
What is your thoughts on just that alone? How basically Keisha was like, y'all not roommates, and like Juan was like, well, the spark is missing. You know, I'm hands on with everything else, but it's just a spark with this one.
I think what frustrates me too about the Married at First Sight experiment is that the people that come in expect it to flow like a normal relationship. The spark may not ever be there.
No,
but you want to be married, you want a long-term relationship,
yes.
You want a partner, and you want a life to build with someone. So that means that you're signing up to work harder on the things that might come natural with someone who's your typical type.
Yeah.
So for them to always come into this, Juan specifically, because we're talking about him, but for a lot of the people that come on to Married at First Sight, it's like they expect this instant chemistry when that's not what you're signing up for.
No.
You're signing up for a life partner, and the chemistry may or may not come, and it might just be a arrangement. And that's what it is.
No, that's exactly what it is. I don't know how many times Pastor Carol got to say it on the show.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a normal process.
Yeah.
For one, you forego your process by signing up for our process. So that's why I'm like, I am not falling for the whole, like, this experiment is new. And like, usually with every other experiment that I had, whenever it came to us being physical, it didn't work. But this is not that. And Carla is asking for hand holding. So like, stop trying to sell me on, like, when I did it my way, it didn't work. Well, you're doing it your way now, and it's not working.
Yeah.
So like that's why I say Juan to me just comes off as a fraud, as someone who say positive things and try to give positive reinforcements to, like, truth be told, his like bad behavior when it comes to how he's operating within his marriage.
Yeah, like there's not much effort on his part.
No, it's no effort on his part.
Yeah.
But whole time you want to be so hands-on and business-minded with your business and with your life, and even when it come down to your family, but when it come down to your marriage and it have to do with somebody else, you come off as selfish. That like it can't live in the same box. You get what I'm saying?
And I will say, as far as Zara's tips and growing physical intimacy, that would be a wonderful exercise for the experts to include into the process, so that way people can grow in the physical space without thinking that it has to be sexual. And I think there was a couple before that actually did that, but they just didn't work out.
They didn't work out.
But I think that for people who really want this to work, like, that could be a good exercise for them to introduce that in the relationship early on, because people get into these ruts of friend zones to where they don't even want to touch, or they're scared to know whether or not they can touch the other person.
Yeah, you're right.
So I think they need to introduce something like that sooner in the process for them to get comfortable with that.
You're right 100%. Zara's right 100% based on her own experience, that, like, you know, shout out to them. But it's when people speak, I was in ROTC, right? Navy at that, right? People think a spark is just something that comes. you know how hard it is to go get like branches and to like foul that branch until like a fire comes. You gotta foul that thing, blow on it, and keep doing it over and over again, right? It's a trying process. So when it comes to the trying process of marriage and actually being together, you gotta do the awkward stuff so it can become normal. So for me, honestly, the timer thing is awkward for me, right? But the thing about it is that's really what like successful marriages or progressive marriages is built on. Doing things that may seem awkward in the beginning, but in the long run, at the end, it's going to count for something.
Yeah.
Some as simple as holding hands. Some as simple as sitting next to each other. Some as simple as just looking at each other in the eye. Me, honestly, I can't look nobody in the eye for longer than like 15 seconds because eventually I'll be like, why am I looking you in the eye? But it's just something. But it's just something that's like, it's those awkward things that may come off as unnatural that is going to pay off in the back end. And I agree.
Yeah. So we see this scene where Michelle confronted David about the text message at the house.
Yeah.
Where he said that there was no photo and he was texting girls that he had dated before and going out to hanging out with some of them.
Okay.
So Keisha throws her cards down on the ground. She said she about jumped through the TV screen when she was watching it at home.
Why, Keisha?
Juan said he's taken his advice from Shaggy. It wasn't me. Michelle knew that he was lying. Then throwing in all the women in there that he's been texting and spending time with, and it was a lot.
Yeah, it was.
Zara said that if he would have led with the truth, then it would have been better. But you didn't even come up with a good lie. Michelle knows that their marriage has been rocky, and this is just causing a bigger divide between them.
Rocky is an understatement, Michelle. And what do you mean bigger divide? Stop it. Like, and this the part that I don't like, that is not genuine. You was never gonna like David.
Yeah.
You took him out to get clothes, you ain't pay for it, right? You
Exactly.
did all these things to try to make it seem like you're trying and that this is gonna bring y'all closer. It didn't. Y'all watch y'all wedding ceremony and things of that nature. It did not bring you closer. You are so proud of a 20-minute conversation. Truth be told, if there was a 20-minute conversation with me and Blair, I didn't even get a chance to talk yet. Okay, so like, I know it may seem like I talk a lot, but my thing is like a 20-minute conversation with your spouse is not something to clap about, right?
Yeah.
Truth be told, we just getting started,
yeah.
right? So my whole thing is, Michelle, don't try to make it seem like you are the oh my goodness, what is that? The damsel in distress. Yeah,
yes.
You're not that, right? There's not a betrayal on David part to you, right? David did not betray you because you did not like him, right? But at the same time, I'm gonna go to Keisha just a little bit. Keisha, I gotta go to you. Why are you throwing your cards down? Why are you so like surprised that David did this? Because David come off as a nice guy and David wouldn't do this? No. David come off as immature. And when it comes to immaturity, it's uncertainty. So when someone's as immature as a man, David would do anything. And I wouldn't put it past him. And I didn't put it past him. You get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, even though David is wrong, even though David, that was a dumb lie, even though David, you have been mature since day one, even though David, you are talking to these women and going on dates and Tinder and all that stuff and you ain't standing up for yourself, Michelle, you are not no victim. Michelle, you are not the damsel in distress and you should not feel betrayal because you was not doing anything to bring y'all closer together.
Right.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. I guess the only thing that I have to say is like, David, like, we're all laughing because the lie is ridiculous.
Yeah, the lie
is ridiculous. Am I so upset that he's texting and talking to other women and going on dates and stuff like that? I'm not too upset about that because, Michelle, you do not like this man.
No.
But I will say, David, you were caught. So because you were caught, just come clean, apologize to the girl, and be like, all right, now we can really call it quits.
Exactly.
Because you don't want to be here with me. But I do think that it is with Madison. And if that is the case, then I think that is grimy.
No, that is grimy.
On both of their parts, specifically more so towards Alan, because Alan is really trying to give it his all, and Alan does not deserve that, you know? And
I hope it's not Madison. I really do.
And that would really upset me because, I mean, Alan's been in the gym 5, 6, 7 days a week, twice a day, going to all these dates with her to where he got to run around and hit balls and stuff like that. I'm just like, this man is working overtime to get this girl to even look at him. And for David to be sending sexy text messages while they're out together, this is all theories.
This is all your theories. I'm about to say, when?
This is all theories.
This is all your theories.
Allegedly.
Okay.
That's foul.
Yeah.
That's beyond foul.
I hope it's not Madison because I don't want Married to Madison I'm married to Madison. I don't want Married at First Sight to become that predictable. Like hopefully it's just another woman and Madison, whatever happens to her, happened to her. But I hope it's not David and Madison because that'd be wild. Because David's not even a pretty boy. You basically just settled for whoever was around. And That's kind of wild to see. Yeah. Anything else?
That's it.
In the great words of a philosopher, right? David should have just told Michelle, if you don't want me, then don't talk to me.
Hey now.
Go ahead and free yourself.
And he could have just left it at that and walked out the door.
Left it at that. I got a Tinder date. Okay? Like, basically. Anything else?
That's it.
Listen here. I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. We see y'all.
Bye.